So the government spent more than $10,000 fighting a legal battle to make sure that all of this au pair drama was kept secret. And now people just want to know what the deal is, and it's turned into this huge meme.
What's the deal?
What's the deal?
What's the deal? What's the deal?
What's the deal?
I mean, what's the deal?
Some people have even been creative.
Everybody wants to know. Au pairs, 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 au pairs.
Thoughts are with all BuzzFeed Australia staff this week. One of the best examples of a global media company coming to Australia and doing something unique and important. A sad day for everyone in journalism. Before we get into this video, I've just got to point out, there's about 6 people in that video, and that video has about 6 likes. And yet they're wondering why they got fired. That means none of their friends, there's 6 people in there, and not one of their friends thought it was good enough to like. In case you didn't know, devastating news for journalists everywhere, which is extremely good news for everyone else in society, which is that BuzzFeed is cutting back its news staff in Australia. And I know what you're thinking. BuzzFeed did news in Australia? I thought that they just commented on political gossip and then put a lol in the corner. And yeah, that's what they did, but they call themselves journalists. Let's go into the nitty-gritty of this story. BuzzFeed gives entire news team redundancy letters in international effort to cut costs. Yeah, that's a pretty good move. That is like the Australian military realizing it still has a cavalry division. Irrelevant! What I'm surprised by is that they lasted this long. Nobody watches their news. Again, let's go back to that because it's so glorious. The only shares that they have are from people within the office sharing it. And nobody's liking their shares. BuzzFeed General Manager Simon Crerar, that is the best name for somebody who works at BuzzFeed. His last name sounds like a mumble. Crerar tweeted the news earlier today encouraging his mates to, quote, send beer. I love it when news.com tries to act like it's a serious site by putting things in quotes. BuzzFeed management have informed us that 25 roles in Australia are facing redundancy. 11 new roles are being created in Sydney's business priorities shift. Well, that was a stupid move. You should have just cut them all. And on top of that, just get a giant boot and kick them in the butts where they go, no, my bony ass that's just got nothing but sushi and soy milk in it. Look at him. It's exactly who you would imagine working at BuzzFeed, a nerdy sociopath. And here's what he says. We've built a strong brand, loyal audience. Strong brand and loyal audience. What you have done is get that old site ratemypoo.com and thought, there's something to this, and then just slapped a bunch of lols and WTFs over the top of it. You have not a loyal audience or a strong brand. Nobody in the world likes you. And growing business in Australia, you're laying off staff. Why are you saying this now? And BuzzFeed remains committed to building on that foundation for the long term. Yeah, it really seems like you're in it for the long haul. It looks like a daycare center for Gen Y coke addicts, which is essentially what it is. It's pretty much just rehab. The news of BuzzFeed cuts have been felt right around Australia. Yes, but in celebratory terms, with dozens of journalists mourning the common media scenario. See, the reason this is a common media scenario is because, newsflash, you're all trash. Sad day for everyone in journalism. Oh, my heart goes out to you, news.com. Solidarity with my mates and stellar reporters at BuzzFeed. This is what journalists think is solidarity, writing a tweet. Old or new, the media industry needs its good ones more than ever. What? The guys at BuzzFeed. The ones that, when Streets decided to halve its staff's wage, which is now legal as a result of the Fair Work Commission, which is a huge story. If you were even a pinch of shit of a journalist, you would be reporting on that, because that means that your boss can turn around mid-contract and go, I don't like this anymore. And that's the end. And then he just renegotiates your conditions when he feels like it. But what did BuzzFeed do? not report on it at all. Why? Because Streets is one of their sponsors. That's one of the ones that I know for a fact. Sorry that I don't watch this all day, every day, because I don't know about you, but I personally don't like looking at shithouse content. But they must be doing this all the time. If they have a conflict of interest with a corporate sponsor, they are not going to report on it. This is the same reason why all these clickbait sites never go hard on the Liberal Party. It's because the government gives out money in the forms of those ads of, this holidays, make sure that you drive slow. And here's a good idea. Have we told you this before? It's not a good idea to drink and drive. Those little campaigns act as a buffer for the Liberal Party because then they can just say, then you don't get the funds to those really lucrative ads. And then they don't report on it. This is why all they ever report on is political gossip. They're everyone of the BuzzFeed news team in Australia. I'm so sorry this is happening. Are you? Or are you just fishing for likes on Twitter? Solidarity. This is just the epitome of being a keyboard warrior, isn't it? A, not doing jack, but B, condensing the word solidarity down to a single word sentence. I wish things were better for the news industry overall. Well, that's your opinion, Janine Kalick, and it got 6 likes on Twitter. But I'm going to put up on Twitter that I wish that it was worse for the journalism industry, and we'll see how many likes that gets. See, what is so beautiful about these layoffs is that every opportunity that BuzzFeed gets, they shit on unions, and then this happens. And the irony is, if they actually unionize, that would show solidarity more than a tweet, you dunderheads. Because everyone in BuzzFeed is such a lemming, when their CEO said, yeah, unions aren't for us, they said, oh really? Unions aren't lit? And then they didn't unionize. They had the opportunity to do so, and they turned it down because their CEO said that people at BuzzFeed aren't replaceable. I think you can find enough people that are going to put the words please enjoy at the front of a video they saw on YouTube. I don't know if that's the most unique skill on earth. So may I just say, calm as a bitch, ain't it, BuzzFeed? Judging from your tweets like Brett Esposito, who says, so unsure about my future at BuzzFeed News for today. I don't know if he's going to get employed ever again. He's pretty confident about it, saying, but hell, if you're hiring, now would be a good time to get in early. Well, Brad, because again, I know that people at BuzzFeed get paid worse than daycare center workers, again, because you don't unionize, I'm willing to offer you a job. You could be my footrest. I'll pay you the exact same amount. And I'll just pay another midget to sit in my toilet all day, and then every time he does a poop and goes, I need someone to wipe my bum bum. That's the only time you're allowed to get underneath my feet and you get to wipe his bum, because judging from who the owner is of BuzzFeed Oz, he looks like a midget as well. So you're probably used to it. Every time something bad happens, I always tell myself that worse things happen to better people. But it doesn't work this time because the people I work with are the best people I've ever met in my life. Who is your former social circle, the upper echelons of the Yakuza? I'm logging off for a bit, but I'm so proud of every single one of us. Why? What have you done? Nothing. The only thing you have done is dumb down political discourse in this country by making people think that it is about gossip, that it is about Peter Dutton's au pair situation, or the fact that Malcolm Turnbull gave a hobo a $5 once. That is your coverage and idea of what federal politics is, because you're a bunch of morons that have been given a platform by an evil multinational company that gets you to write advertising pieces for really evil companies while you sit there and think that you're some of the best people on earth. The delusion! Anyway, I think I'm just gonna listen to Michael Jackson's greatest hits while looking at pictures of these guys crying and dance for the next 4 hours. So, make sure that you like, make sure that you share. How could you not? This is the best thing to happen to journalism since Watergate. Because Alice Workman, along with everyone else in BuzzFeed, is always talking about, yay, women in power. That how BuzzFeed is constantly being like, yeah, palm oil is fine. Slavery of children overseas. Well, it's not happening here. I can't see it. But oh my God, somebody slut-shamed. It's 2018. Well, guess what? Alice Workman, as a result of her extremely salacious article that she released that is pretty defamatory, there is a very real chance that Alice Workman will legally, not my opinion, legally be a slut-shamer. So to use the language that BuzzFeed uses as a sign-off of respect, please enjoy this contrast of Alice Workman talking about her journalistic standards and integrity, contrasted with Ebba Hussar's abdication speech.
We are presenting you with information that we have thoroughly researched.
At 9:33 a.m. on August 2, Miss Alice Workman of BuzzFeed published the most damaging article. In it, she claimed she had requested my comment. She had not. This is false.
And fact-checked.
At 9:34 a.m. on the same day, 1 minute after that publication, she emailed me requesting comment and answers to 48 questions for the article that she had already published.
And scrutinised.
At 9:35 a.m, she further tweeted that I had bragged about who I was having sex with, that I had sexually harassed an employee and intentionally exposed myself like Sharon Stone's character in Basic Instinct in front of a colleague and his infant son.
We don't write opinion or analysis or anything like that. We just do straight news reporting.
Mr Speaker, let me correct the record. BuzzFeed and Alice Workman knew that the confidential letter which contained untested and contested allegations was in their possession. They also knew I was bound by confidentiality under the Whelan process I was being examined by. But they went ahead and they published their slut-shaming story knowing with full intent that it would go viral.
This has been Alice Workman, BuzzFeed Australia. Absolute inspiration.
Please share and comment below. Comment.